Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Crafty Hour number 89. It's Deanna here with Clipper Street, and we have an exciting Crafty Hour for you. So welcome, hop on, say hello. We are going to get started. I have some big plans today. We're actually going to make 4 cards, so we'll see how we do with that, and if we can get through them all. As we all know, Crafty Hour is, it's a quick one. We're going to go fairly quick. Do not stress. You can rewatch this video at any time and do them at your speed. That is totally okay. We just want to get you through several different fun card ideas. So do not panic if I am going a little fast. I'm going to make 4 cards with you, but you can go back, slow down the speed. When you watch it on replay, there's a little settings button, and you can pause and go back over. So, hello, Gail. Thank you for saying good morning. Hello, Sharon. Thank you, guys. We are going to use the Hunkydory Enchanted Glades Deluxe Craft Pad. Now, this is an amazing craft pad because everything you need is in here. Like, it's just got it all. We have the die cuts that are at the beginning. Then we have some pattern paper, some with gold foil, some with not. And then at the back, we have these awesome inserts. Now, I probably won't have time to put inserts into all of my cards today, but I kind of want to show you what the inserts do, okay? So you can cut them apart and decorate the inside of your card. Now, some people like to cut it all as one, put a little fold in there, and attach it just at the top and the bottom, which you can totally do. That is just one option. I actually prefer, I find my cards sit a little flatter when I cut them and then leave a little border, especially on the seam. So you can either cut one piece, attach at the top and bottom. I don't attach in the middle when it's one piece because it tends to kind of buckle. So I let it just free fall. But my preference, and I think the cleaner, is just to go ahead and cut whatever size you like for the inside. And this just decorates your cards. So for instance, with this one, and I haven't done this yet, I can now take let's do this one. I can take this paper, cut it, and put it inside, cut out those corners, and it's going to look fantastic. So that's what an insert is. I have done them in my cards, but I am not going to do them today. That will be for you guys to do as homework because we're going to try and get through 4 cards. Now, Hunkydory is really all about quick, simple, easy. It is not always about making it, all crazy. There is so many good images and die cuts that you really don't need to do that. Now, the one thing we added this time, which is a little different, usually we use our foils, which there is a foil pack that matches if you're interested, but we gave you some of the adorable scoreable. We wanted you to try this, and again, that's part of the Crafty Hour, is trying product that maybe you are not used to using. Maybe you don't usually use them. So we gave you 8 different colors. I am going to use 4. Courtney will use hers this afternoon. Now, before we even open this, I just looked at the back and I told Courtney, I'll take the first 2, you take the next 2, we'll keep it easy. When we opened it, we realized that they weren't actually in that order. So not to worry, we're gonna pull those together. Okay, I'm going to get started, and I'm going to start with the card that has a little bit more work to it. Now, we've done cards like this before in my class where we have kind of like a barn door. It's a portion of the front is cut off, but this time I decided to add a panel in the front. So just to give it kind of a different look and secure those die cuts a little bit easier. So I'm going to get started. As I said, we've got 4 cards we are going to try to do today. So my speed may be a little bit faster than normal. definitely faster than a class, that's for sure. So I'm going to pull out my green die cut sheet that's called The Little Things. It has the little hedgehog and the bunny rabbits on it. I'm going to pull that, and then I'm going to move down, and I'm going to open this one up so you can see. I'm going to pull the bunny paper. Okay, and I'm going to put the rest off to the side for now. So I've got the bunny paper, and I have the die cut sheet that's called The Little Things. Those are the two that we're going to use. Now for this one, I did ask for your homework, was to get some card bases. So for this one, we are going to use the card base that is the 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And if you cut it from a piece of paper, then it was 5 3/4 by 11 1/2, and we scored it in half at 5 3/4. So that's the one we are going to start with. Now, let me grab my little notes here so that we can write. What we're going to do is open our card up nice and wide, and we're going to grab this big trimmer because I need to have my card tall. All right, it's going to open up. The score line is going sideways, as you can see, and we're going to open it up tall. Now, there's two ways to do this. We can either go to the 2 3/4 and fold our card back, which is what I'm going to do, just a little bit easier. Or we can go to the, I think it's 3 3/4. Yep, 3 3/4. But, well, maybe, no, I'm going to stay with the 2 inches. So, again, with my card tall and my score line sideways, I'm going to line my trimmer up at 2 inches, and I'm only going to cut to the score line. All right, so we're just going to cut right to the score line. Double check it. That looks perfect. Okay, my card is tall. I've taken it to the 2 inch, and I've only cut to the score line. Now, when we've done these cards in the past, I tend to remove the smaller portion. But for this card, we're actually going to remove the larger portion. I only want that 2 inch piece. So we're going to cut this. You can use your scissors. You can use your trimmer. I tend to, for this one, use my guillotine, but you do have to be very careful when you do that. And I'm only going to remove that top 3 3/4. Okay, so this is what my card is going to look like. I'm just going to have a little 2 inch piece. I've taken out the bigger piece. We can put that aside for another project. And then I'm going to take my score blade. I'm going to give it a good crease. And I'm also going to, you can see how that's a little bumpy. I don't know if you can see it, but sometimes that happens. I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to smooth out those lines. And that works like a charm. It just takes all of that bumpy off, and it is now perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. Now, it's a little flimsy because it's only 2 inches. So that is why I have added this little panel, just to give it a little bit more oomph. And we're going to work with that in a minute. So not quite yet. Okay, so we have our card ready. We are going to actually take our green adorable scorable. That's the one that we want to use. And I think the first cut we're going to do is, again, a tall cut. That's going to save us a little bit. So we're going to put it in our trimmer tall, and we're going to take it to 5 5/8. So that's only cutting off a little bit. 5 5/8 is bigger than 5 1/2, smaller than 5 3/4. And I'm going to cut one big long strip. Now, you're only going to be cutting off maybe 1/4 of an inch-ish. Okay, you're not cutting off a lot. So there is your 5 5/8 right in between that 5 1/2 and 5 3/4. And we're cutting all the way down. All right, now we need to make it a square because our card is a square. So I'm now going to rotate, and I'm going to do that same measurement in between 5 1/2 and 5 3/4. So that's the first piece. That is our square. Now I have this piece left over, and we are going to trim the width of that. I want it to be just under 2 inches. Remember, we cut that at 2, so it's going to be 1 7/8. Right in between 1 3/4 and 2, and you're going to cut off maybe about 3/4 of an inch. Now, don't throw this away. Don't lose this piece. I'm going to use it in another card. So I'm going to put it at the top of my desk so I don't lose it, because you know that happens. Now I'm going to fold that a little better. Just make sure, there we go. So this big piece is going to glue inside. Should give me a little border of white all the way around. It does. And then this one here is going to glue on the front with a little border. So I'm going to quickly glue this. Then we're going to move to our pattern paper and start cutting. Okay, so again, if I'm going a little fast today, I've got 4 cards for you. So I know that was ambitious. Remember, you can watch this on replay. You can go back. You can definitely do it slower if you wish. Okay, so there's that one. Crafty Hour is all about giving you ideas to craft with projects and product that you have purchased. And it is a crafty hour, which means we are crafting in 1 hour. So we are going to go a little faster than a normal class. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to let that dry. And I am now going to go to our bunny paper, because this is what we are going to use for inside our card. Okay, so let me clear my space. I'm going to get rid of, actually, I'm going to flip that over. And we are going to cut this. Now, there's a special way we need to cut this paper. Okay, so what we're going to do, first of all, is turn it upside down. Upside down, the bunnies are standing on their head, upside down. And we're going to take the orange portion, and we're going to line it up at 5.5. So we're going to cut all the way down at 5.5. So let's cut that. Bunnies are going to fall off. Don't put that away, because we're going to use this in a minute. Just going to put it right there. And I have this piece now that has the orange on the bottom, green on the top, and it's 5.5. And we're going to make this a square. So 5.5 by 5.5. Take that. This piece I'm also going to use in a few minutes. So we're not going to get rid of that one either. We're going to use all of this paper. Now, if I hold that up, I should get the green border all the way around. It's a perfect match. I'm going to glue it with my orange on the bottom. Put that just like that and let that dry. Orange on the bottom. Excellent. Now, I do need a pattern paper for the front, so I'm going to go back to the bunny paper. Okay, I want you to find your bigger piece, not the little guy, but the bunny guy. Oops, let's grab that. And from the top, okay, we're going to cut this portion right here. So I'm going to turn it sideways. And I'm going to take the top of my paper to 1 3/4. So I'm going to line that up, 1 3/4. And then this piece is going to be for our next card. So we're going to put the bunny away, and we have this piece that's 1 3/4. And the length is too long, so we are going to make it 5.5. All right. Let's have a look. I think that's all the paper we need to cut for this, so you can see how easy that is. That's perfect. We're going to glue that one onto our card now. Actually, I lied. We have one more paper to cut. One more. All right. Beautiful. We'll set that off to the side. And now we're going to go back to this paper. This is the one that we cut off at the beginning. And this is the one that I am using to go right in the center. As you can see, it's already a perfect match We are going to be attaching it right here in just a minute. Oh, my glue's still a little wet. So I want you to now take this one, and we are going to take our peach paper. This is our peach cardstock, and we're going to glue it so that we are flush at the top, and we can cut this ahead of time, flush at the top, and we just have a border on the short sides. So this measurement looks like it's 2 3/4. So that means I'm going to cut a piece that's 2 7/8. Now we want to cut the short, so I want to put it into my trimmer so that it is going sideways once again, and we're going to take it to just under 3. Just under 3. It's 2 7/8. Just under 3. This card I'm going to put aside. It's going to be for my next card. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And then I'm going to trim this piece to 5 1/2. Nice and easy. And now when we glue that pattern paper on top, like so, we are only going to see that peachy color on the sides. And that's exactly what we want. So let's go ahead and glue that together. All right. On it goes, just like that. Now this is going to be a front panel that is going to hold our die cuts. It's going to go right there. It's going to go from the bottom of the pattern paper to the top of the pattern paper. This is the piece that we are working on right here. Okay, this one right here. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to use my double-sided tape to attach it. I want a really good strong bond. I also want an instant bond because of course I am going to start attaching this right away. So I'm only going to put some double-sided tape on the back, on the bottom, and only about 1 3/4. Okay, I don't want to go past that. So I'm just using this kind of like a template. I'm going to put a couple of pieces just like that. Now the bottom is the orange, the green is the top. So just to make sure that you can see that. So what I did is I just flipped it so that I knew that I was not going to go past that. I came very, very close. So we're going to take off that tape. Oops, grab it, grab it, grab it. Oh my gosh, too many pieces. Okay. And I'm going to line it up in the middle. Now, I am not a measurer. I just eyeball. It is okay. If I'm out a little, not going to be the end of the world. And then I'm going to flip it over and just make sure, as you can see, no sticky is showing, or it could end up staying closed, and we don't want that. So, and I just did that with my double-sided tape. All right, now we've done the hard work. It is just time to do the decorating. So I'm going to go to our die cut sheet, which is the little things. I'm going to pull out the bunnies down on the bottom. And I'm going to separate these because we have the outside frame, the inside frame, and then we have the image. We are not going to use the inside frame. I do recommend that you kind of hang tight with those because they're very useful. You can always use them for other occasions. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And I'm going to start with the frame. Okay, now I want it to be fairly close to the top, not totally, but fairly. I would say right about there. You can see that we have the points kind of showing at the leaves. That is a good one. Now I only want to put adhesive on the part that is going to hit that center panel. I have no adhesive on the sides. That's important. So again, I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to place it where I think it's going to go. And I'm going to use my foam strips. I'm going to actually use 2 at the same time. That's just a preference. And I take off the backing. Notice I take off the backing first so that if I need to maneuver it around any corners, I can just tear it, and then I'm going to repeat on the bottom as well. And let's grab a little bit more. And for this one, I just need a little piece. So, little piece. Right there. All right, so I know I don't want to lose this adhesive. Let's put it there. I know I'm not going to go past it, so it's should be okay. We're going to put it on centered side to side, and my point is kind of just at the leaves. All right, now when I flip it over, let's do a quick check. Let's make sure that we don't have any foam tape where we shouldn't, and I don't. So I think I'm good. Now I'm going to put my image back in, and this time I personally am going to use double foam tape. You can use single foam tape. You can totally use sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I noticed that this tape was a lot thinner than what I usually use, so that's not a good thing. You can do single, you can do no foam tape. It is totally up to you. So I'm going to do double foam tape, and I'm going to put a piece here in the center. I'm going to put a piece here in the center, and I might just grab one more piece and put it underneath. I know that there's going to be like a little border, so I'm not going right to the top and I'm not going right to the bottom. Now I have this as double. It is your call. You do what works best for you. I'm going to now put that right in the center. I think that's good. And I have that. I like these to be different heights, but that's just a me thing. That doesn't mean that it is right or wrong. And again, if I open it, no foam tape is showing on the back, which is perfect. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is take my greeting, and for this one, I am going to use the birthday wishes. So we're going to take the birthday wishes, and I think I did double foam tape. I'm actually going to grab my little squares, and I put them right touching the frame, and I'll show you in a minute when I get these on. Again, they're going to be double high. So I got one there, and one there. Okay, so these are 2 times high, and notice where I have put them just right touching the outer frame, so that when I put this on, like so, it should be perfect. It is not covering the image at all. It just is coming very, very close. Okay, so just a fun little cut apart card that we have done. Nothing revolutionary or crazy. We've done cards like this before, but I think it's really pretty. Now you can take your gems. I am going to do that at the end if I have time. But what I did is I ended up using these. I had them in my stash. You can use enamel dots is perfect. You can use gems. That's perfect. I put 3 up in the top corner, 3 down in the bottom corner. So these 3 create a little triangle technically inside your card, and then these ones are on the front. So I'm going to do that after. If I have a little bit of time, I'm going to quickly get on to our next card. So hopefully you guys are all good with that. Again, you can come back, watch, rewatch, whenever works for you. Let's start card number 2. Who thought it was a good idea to do 4 cards? But we like to give you value when we can. So we're going to use this one. Now, this is the card that I mentioned to do with the 5.5 by 5.5. We're going to use the same die cut sheet for this one, as well as our peach and our leftover green. We're going to need both of these, and we are going to use our leftover bunny paper. So these are the 3 items that we've already used that we're going to do on this one. Now, I did mention if you wanted to use an inverted corner punch, which is a punch that takes a bite out of it, you absolutely can. If you don't have one, you don't have to do this. I just really like the look of it, especially when you're doing a bracket die. I think it's really pretty. I really love the Hunkydory one. It just is a great size. There is other brands out there, including Spellbinders. And I do own that one too. That one has 3 different sizes, so oftentimes that one has a point. Now, I like to clean out my punch because I don't want to damage it. So when I'm done, I just pull those out. And you can see that that punch is strong enough to go through most of your paper. Now, if you're using a really thick paper like 110, might be a little challenging. Just do it on the desk with your palm. Okay, whoops, I'm getting messages through. I forgot to shut off. Do not disturb. Oh my goodness, people. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, I wonder if I can, one sec, give me a sec. I wonder if I can, I can turn off do not disturb right on there. All right, perfect. Now we should not be interrupted. Okay, so we've taken our card. This is the 5.5-inch card. We've punched the 4 corners. And now I want you to find this leftover peach paper. We used it in the last card, so you're going to have a piece left over. And we're going to cut a square out of this that is just a smidge smaller than the 5.5. It's going to be 5 3/8. So just a little smaller. It's going to be in between 5 1/4 and 5 1/2. I'll show you. We're going to make it a square. So there it is. And then I'm going to flip it. And you know what? The other way is already perfect. Look at that. I've already got the perfect size. So before I punch the corners, I like to double check. It's going to fit. It's going to fit perfect. If you're going to be a corner puncher, go ahead and punch all 4 corners. Okay. Once again. And then I double check it one more time. And it's perfect. And we can go ahead and glue together. So we'll put some adhesive on that. And attach. All right. We'll set that off to the side. Let that dry. And we'll come back to that in a minute. Now, the next paper we're going to do is, where did it go? My bunny paper. Okay, so we're going to cut this also into a square. And we're going to start with taking the bunnies onto their side. And we're going to take the bottom of the bunny paper to 5 1/4. So we're going to cut off plain green pattern, just plain pattern. And of course, you know, we can use this somewhere. So we'll put that off to the side, and then we're going to turn it and we're going to make it a square. Again, we are not cutting the bunnies. We will cut the very tippy tip, right at the tippy tip of that leaf. It's 5 1/4. So now we have this bunny image here. Okay, I double check. It fits, and then you know we're going to punch the corners. If you're not punching corners, just go ahead and glue it on. Totally okay to do. Oops, I didn't get that one very good, did I? There we go. This is also a card that I like to do. I've done it a few times. We're going to do it a little different this time, but I've done it a few times. It just makes it really quick and easy. So that's perfect. Now this is a square card. So if you want your card to open the other way, now is the time to choose which way you want that to open. I like the fold at the top, but that's just me. Nothing right, nothing wrong about which way you do it. Just don't do it upside down. All right. So that's perfect. We're going to set that off to the side right there. And we're going to go actually to our pattern papers again. And we're going to pull out the hedgehog paper. love this hedgehog. It is so cute. So I want you to find the hedgehog paper. I want to give you the right measurement for this one. Yep, that's. So the first cut we're going to do, whoop, whoop. What is going on with my, oh my gosh. Facebook all of a sudden started acting up. I hope you guys are okay, but all of a sudden, okay, I might not be able to see the comments. Oh my goodness. I'm going to see if one of the girls can get me my laptop. Can somebody please grab me my laptop? Thank you. Okay. Hopefully you guys are okay. My Facebook started doing weird things. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to put it into our trimmer right side up, and we're going to take it to 5 1/4. So we're going to cut one long piece, 5 1/4. Look at what the iPad's doing. Just started doing that all on its own. I know. Okay, bear with me, guys. I'm just going to get us up on my iPad so that I can, or on my computer, so that I can see the comments, because there we go. Okay, I think that'll be okay. So we have our hedgehog, it got cut off. I'm going to put my hedgehog away. I'm not using that side. Now I am using this piece. It is 5 1/4. Now I want a piece that is thank you, Sharon. I appreciate you letting me know it's okay. All of a sudden mine started doing weird things. I want a piece that's going to be 1 3/4. So how I decided where to do that is the first thing I did is I cut just above, let me show you my sample, just above the butterfly. All right, so that's what I'm going to do first. Now, if I'm going to give you a measurement, let's say 5 1/4. So ignore that one right now. Let's say 5 1/4. And if you put it in like this, it should be right above the little wing of that butterfly. So 5 1/4. I'll put this off to the side. I can use this for another card. And I have a piece that looks like this. Okay, it's just right above the wing. Now I'm going to cut it to 1 3/4, which means I'm going to get a little bit of green, just a little bit. Okay, so that's what I have. I have a little bit of, oops, that just all moved on me. Oh, there we go. I have a little bit of leaves with a little bit of green. Now what I'm going to do is take that dark green that we had as a scrap. You guys might remember this. And I think we'll make it 5 1/4 first. How about? Because it's a little bit long. So we'll trim it to the 5 1/4. And then we're going to make 2 French fries. Now these are going to be skinny fries. Very skinny. I want you to cut them lengthwise. I only have this much green left, so we're going to utilize it. So I have 2 skinny French fries. And then what we're going to do is put some double-sided tape on the back, top and bottom, and we're going to add that green mat. I keep doing that. My card isn't quite dry yet, and I keep moving it. So let me put mine on, and then I will show you what I mean. Okay, so it kind of looks like that on the back side. And then I'll just do one at a time so I don't stick to anything I should not stick to. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to just put it right on top of the green. So I have a little border like that. Okay, then I'm going to repeat the same on the bottom. We have this extra green, why not use it? And it just is going to give it a little bit more of a pop. Now, you might ask yourself, well, Deanna, why didn't you do that when you did the peach, right? We could have saved some paper. The reason I did not is because you're going to see it on the back side. So you would have seen strips like this, which I didn't think were quite as clean. So I just want to point that out as well. Okay, so we have this done. I'm going to set it off to the side for a minute. And we're going to go to our die cuts. and we're going to remove the hedgehog. So we're going to take this out. It's the same die cut sheet. You're going to see that you're going to have lots left over that you can create even more. Thank you, Julie. And let's separate all of this. Let's just pop all of this apart once again. Okay, we don't need the middle at all. We just need the outside and the image. Perfect. Now I chose to, and you can have a look at yours, I chose to have the flowers at the top and bottom because I'm going to put this strip all the way across. So if I have the flowers at the side, I'm going to lose some of those flowers. But if you want the green at the top, you absolutely can. So we're going to take our foam strips, and I'm just probably going to use one at a time this time. Okay, and we are going to put foam strip all the way around. Again, just a little quick and easy tip. Take your backing off. Makes it so much easier. And I've been telling you that probably for 12 years, but it truly does make it easier. Okay. You can see how fast I can be because that backing is off. Okay, so mine is done. And I'm just going to put it with the flowers at the top, right in the middle, right in the center, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to foam tape this across. Okay, it's going to go right across the center. So I'm going to put foam tape pretty much just in the middle for now. Let me grab my foam tape here. And I'm just doing single. Okay, just single foam tape. So let me grab my foam tape, and I'm going to avoid the frame. We don't need it where the frame is. So I'm going to say probably right about there. And yours is going to be single. Maybe I'll put a little bit more. This is the thinner tape, so I just doubled it, which is single. I don't want to confuse you guys. I grabbed the wrong foam tape. And then, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to take a little strip of foam tape, and I'm going to put one strip on each end, and as close to the end as possible. So single foam tape in the middle. I didn't take all the backing off. And then a little strip, come on the ends. This is all single foam tape. Now with the green pattern on the bottom, so it's facing the right way, we're going to put it in the middle. Am I straight? Straight enough. Okay. Then we are going to put our hedgehog in the center. Now for this, I'm going to put foam tape in the center, single. So let me get that sorted. Okay, we'll get my foam tape. I really do need to get the right size. Okay, so single foam tape here and here. And then down on the bottom, I'm actually going to do double. And I'm just going to use these because I think for now it's going to be a lot quicker for me. And one there, and one there. Little face we're making. And then on the bottom, I'm just going to put one. You can see it's not totally centered. Do not worry about that. So single and double. Now watch this. We put this back in. Oh, it's perfect. And there we go. Okay, so it should sit nice and flat. Okay, last thing for this one. See, this is not rocket science, right? Hunkydory is all about quick, easy cards. You could take these cards and recreate them with any of the Hunkydorys. I'm going to take this little one that says, "It's the little things that make life wonderful." I'm going to take this one, And I'm going to put it down here in the corner. Now, I am going to end up covering that butterfly, but if I put it over here, I end up covering the nose. So some things just have to have, some things just have to be sacrificed. So for this here, I'm going to put single foam tape right on the corner. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to have double on the frame. So that should work out. So I have single, single, and double. And of course, you guys know I can always put more wherever I need to, right? Which I probably will need to. I probably will need to put some there, but let's put it on first. So we're going to take this and put it right down on the corner. I think I'm going to lift, I think I'm going to put a little higher. Yeah, I like that. I like it straight. Okay, so now I can see by pushing where I need extra. I know I'm going to need a little bit of extra, probably right here. We'll just do that. Oh, and that works perfect. Maybe a little extra there. Sometimes that's just the easy way. Right, put it on and then there. Now I'm happy. Now it's secure. And that one is done. Again, super easy. Now you're going to take your inserts and of course put your inserts inside, which will dress those up. All right, let's get started on the next one. You guys hanging in there? I know today was going to be a little fast, but again, do not worry. You can go back and watch these. This one is easy peasy. This is the next one. We're going to go to some of our purples. So in our kit, we're going to pull out the first die cut sheet that's called Magical Moments. Pull out that one. And then we're going to pull out this beautiful paper here. Okay, it has a fancy little lantern up here with some dragonflies. And then we're using the one that's called Magical Moments. So this is our next card. And again, we don't need a card base for this one because we're actually going to use our paper, which makes it nice and easy. This paper is thick enough that it can be a card base. So that's always important. We're going to turn it upside down so that we have the border with the flowers on the bottom. We're going to cut off the lantern. We're not going to use the lantern. And we're going to take it to 5 3/4. Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side. And this is what I have. It measures 5 3/4. Now, because this is a paper company from the UK, their paper's a little different size. So their paper is 8 1/4. Our paper is usually 8 1/2. So what that means is you're going to score it or fold it in half at 4 1/8. I prefer to use my scoring blade, obviously, because it is thick paper. So 4 1/8, which is right in between 4 and 4 1/4. And I'm just going to give it a couple little passes. I don't press too hard, just a couple of passes. And then we'll fold our card. And then you're going to want to grab your bone folder for sure because this paper is thick. Now, it always happens that you might have a little bit of white showing, and that is not a fret. We're just going to take it and we're going to clean that edge up. If you see a little white on the bottom, just take it and clean that edge up. Sometimes just a little bit is all you need to do. So this is our card. That's really easy. Now I want you to go to your light purple. This is your adorable squirrel that we gave you in your kit. And we're going to cut a piece. So let's take it in our trimmer, horizontal, and we're going to cut it at 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Okay, I'll put this aside. And then we're going to trim it to, let's say 5 inches. 3 1/2 by 5. And I'm just going to put that off to the side. That is your light purple. Now we're going to go into our die cuts. And this one is the purple one, the Magical Moments. And I'm going to pull out this top one up here. Come on, let go. We're going to pull out this one and we're going to separate it. Now, I'm only going to take the outer frame out because I am not going to use this girl. If you want to use that girl, then just separate the whole thing. But I am not going to use it. I'm going to use the frame with a different image. So I'm going to use this image right here of the house. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side and use it for a different one another day. So I have the outer frame, which is in the top left, and then I have the house. Now what we're going to do first is we're going to glue this purple onto it flat. Okay, so we're going to just put a little bit of glue on the back side. I actually might use this one just so I can keep the glue very close to the opening. Just need a little bit of glue right at the opening. Let me put that back on. So let me show you, see there? It's right at the opening. And then I'll just put my purple on top. Like that. Now, once we've got that glued together, we can take our scissors, and I am just going to take off my corners. I'm just going to get my scissors kind of underneath a little bit. I didn't quite get that much there. Whoop. And I'm just going to snip my corners. Now, I am not a picky person about, trying to make it shape. If you want to do that, that is totally up to you. I just take those corners off. Nice and easy. And you can see how that adorable squirrel just matches perfectly. We can use this for card bases. We can use this in our card making. Okay, now we're going to attach it to the center of our card. I do not want you to come down off the bottom. It's okay to come over the top, and I want us to be fairly even across it. So again, just making sure not to put any adhesive at the top. Okay, so I'll just flip this so I can casually see. Do not go past that no-go zone, maybe about 2/3. And then I'm going to put that down even side to side. It's going to take a minute to set. Let's make sure I'm not off the bottom of my card. Okay, and no glue is showing at the top. So that is perfect. I'm going to leave this as is. I'm going to let it dry. Now we're going to go back to that same die cut sheet. And we're going to remove our border, which means I'm going to cut here and I'm going to cut here. We're going to use this border on this card and our last card. Hopefully we get to our last card. I think we should. Okay. So that is our butterfly border. And I'm going to cut a piece that is the 5 3/4. Okay, back to that 5 3/4. Cut one border piece that is 5 3/4. Now I'm going to straighten that edge and take it to 5 3/4. This piece I'm going to put somewhere safe. It is going to be used in my last card. I'm going to put it at the top of my desk. Now this piece is going to be the width of our card. And I'm going to put it across the bottom of our card right at that little dip with foam tape. So again, I'm going to grab my foam strips and I'm going to put it all the way across. So a piece there, and I need one more little piece. I'm just going to cut this one, save that. All right. So I have foam tape across it. And I'm going to put it right where that little dipsy is. Now watch your butterflies. The gold ones are the ones that stand out. Those ones, you kind of want to make sure they are going straight. The other printed ones will be upside down. You kind of don't have a right or wrong. But I find that the gold ones stand out. So that's why I made sure that they were the ones that were going in the right direction. There. That's a little better. Snip that. Okay, so I have my border all the way across. Then we're going to take our image. We're going to put some foam tape on the back of that. I'm just going to use these for today since I don't have the foam tape I like. Okay, 1, 2, 4, and 5. We're going to put this right in the center. Going to come right down towards the border. Then I'm going to take my circle happy birthday. And of course, if you want, you could use the have an enchanting day, or you could use the just for you, whichever works. Totally fine. And I'm going to put a little foam piece just right on that border. And I'm going to put it over top like that. And then I did add one more thing, and that is this one that says, wishing you moments of magic. So we're going to pull that. Now, this technically is a tag. I am not fond of using it as a tag. So on the back, I am actually going to put foam tape over top so that hole stays in. Now, we're going to be putting it over top of 2 spots. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put some tape on it. That just a little piece. Just like that. So I know it's not going to go anywhere. Now what we're going to do with our foam tape on this is I'm going to take this and we're going to put double right in the center. How about? Okay, kind of like that. You can just use a single piece of foam tape. Mine is just the wrong thickness. Okay, so that is double foam tape. And then we're going to take this and I'm going to put it so that it is crooked. How about? That's not how we want it. There. You can see that I'm kind of hanging over the edge here from my frame, and then I'm slightly hanging over the edge there. And that one is done. That is really easy, right? We didn't even need a card base for that. And it is a super pretty card. Done. Okay, we have one more card, and I think we can do it. How is everybody doing? You guys are quiet because I'm going fast today. I know. Hopefully you guys are okay. That one's done. We got one more, card number 4. And that is going to be this card. Now we're going to mix and match some of the die cuts that we have used. And that's, again, something I want you guys to see, that when you are buying your Hunkydory, oftentimes you can mix and match with all of these. So for this one, I asked you to bring a 5x7 card. And we're going to trim it. It's not exactly the way we want it, but that's okay. So this is currently a 5x7, and you can see that this card is going to be slightly smaller. Okay, it's slightly smaller. So we are going to trim it to 6.5 inches. The card has a fold at the top, so it's a horizontal card. So I do need my bigger trimmer. And we're going to take it to 6.5 inches right there. And we're going to cut that. And that is what we need. We've got now a card that's 5 inches tall, 6.5 inches long. We're going to cut our mat out of the dark purple. So we're going to cut a piece that's going to fit all the way across. It's not going to fit this way, so we're going to do our long cut first, just so we don't confuse anybody. So we're going to take it to 6 3/8. Now that is just a little bit under 6.5. It is right in between 6.25 and 6.5. So a little bit more challenging on this one, but I think that's it right there. Okay, let me double check in case it's perfect. Okay, so we have it at 6 3/8. I'll keep that for something else. And I'm actually going to take it to my bigger trimmer now. We are going to now cut this. 6 3/8 is this way. Let me show you again because I don't want to confuse you here. So we have 6 3/8, and now we're going to put it into our trimmer at just under 5. 4 7/8, just under 5. We're going to cut a long piece for that. Now let's hold it up and make sure. Perfect. I've got white all the way around, nice dark purple in the center. And keep in mind that all these pieces you can use, just like I showed you, when you are attaching behind green, just to give it another mat. You can always use those. So let's glue that one on. Then we're going to cut our paper. We'll let that dry. Okay. Now, let's go back to our paper pad. Oh my gosh, we still have so much in here. This was such a good value. And if you are interested maybe in making more of these cards, or perhaps you didn't pick up this one because you're like, yeah, maybe not my thing. I know both stores have a few left. We don't have a lot. It is better for you to buy it as a Crafty Hour because you do get those adorable scoreable free. They're included, whereas if you bought it on its own, it is not included. That is something that we did just for you guys. So I want to make sure that you guys get what you need. So you can always give the store a phone call after the Crafty Hour. Okay, so we're going to take this paper. It's got the butterflies up in the corner, the girl down in the bottom. And we're going to take that to 6 1/4. Now I have that marked here on my trimmer. It's right about there. So 6 1/4. I'm keeping the corner. I'm getting rid of the bottom of the girl. So 6 1/4. 6 1/4. And if I hold that up, perfect. It fits right on there. 6 1/4. This is your leftover. And again, I want to keep that corner. So when I go to cut the 4 3/4, we should be cutting off just a plain border. It's a pretty color. We can definitely use this for another card. So 4 3/4. So this piece here measures 6 1/4 by 4 3/4. Should fit. Of course, it's perfect. Right on, and glue that onto our card. It's going to fit right onto that purple. When they are creating their collections, they always come out with a foil pack that matches. So you could have always used foil on these. And then they also come out with the adorable scoreable that matches. And you can see how perfect that matches. It really makes life easy. Okay, we're going to cut one more piece of paper for today. And that is from this leftover piece right here. This is the piece we cut from our last card. Okay, this is the dragonfly. And you might notice I actually didn't use a lot of papers today, right? I barely used papers. So that is also, I think, a very cool thing because you're going to have a lot of paper left over. I know that's Courtney's, and that's Courtney's, and that's Courtney's, and that one's Courtney's. Where are they? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then you've got, oh, I put it over here. You've got this one left over, and you've got this left over. So you've got quite a few. Now this one, we're going to cut a piece from the marble side because I kind of like that marble side. So we're going to go to 3 3/4 and we're going to cut off the top. You'll see that we're just cutting the very tippy tip of the lantern. That's okay. Don't worry. We're okay. 3 3/4. Okay, so you can use this for another card. That's beautiful on a card front with a saying on there. That's all you need. So 3 3/4, and then we're going to trim this to, let's do 5 again. Why not? 3 3/4 by 5. So this purpley marbly piece measures 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to go back to my die cuts. And I am going to pull out this big frame down here. Okay, and I'm going to remove the image, and I'm not using it, not using the image. And we are going to attach this on top of here. Now, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to put foam tape on it. Okay, so you can use glue if you want. You can just go flat, but I think for this one, and you know what? Before we do it, we're going to do something else before we do it. We're going to glue this border right in the middle. It's not going to go edge to edge, but that's okay. It will be what we need. So let's glue that leftover border piece. Let's glue that first. It'll be a little bit easier. When I designed this card, I did not do that. So it was a little bit fussy. So I'm just going to glue it in the middle, as best in the middle as I can. Yep, I think that's fine. We'll just let that dry for a sec. Then I'm going to go back to here, and I am going to put foam tape all the way around. And as I mentioned, if you don't want to do foam tape, you don't have to. But for this one, I think you would really like it. It's just going to really make it pop. So let's see, we'll put a little one right here. Just tear that. And I don't have to cover the entire thing. It's not a shaker, so do not panic if you don't cover the entire thing. Okay. And then a little bit more. Okay, and this is just single foam tape. Just single. Okay, and then maybe a piece here. Then, when I've got foam tape on there, I'm going to put it on top. Sounds like a big party happening out there. Oh my goodness. And then we're just going to cut. We were just saying it sounds like a big party out there. We can all hear you. Okay, so I'm just taking off the corners. Now, if you have any that is showing that is bothering you because this perfectly fit, you can just trim that too. Nobody's going to see the back end, so it doesn't matter. So now you can see that that border is in place across the center. And we have the foam tape all the way around. Thank you so much, Sharon. And then we're going to foam tape it directly to our card. How's my time? Oh, I'm 1 minute over. That's okay. I got about 3 minutes worth left. If my iPad didn't act up, we might have been okay. Okay, so let me get my foam tape. Single foam tape. That's all we need. I'll put a little bit there. I am using this awful thin stuff. I don't like thin stuff. I like the big stuff. Watch those gold butterflies. And we're going to put it in the middle. Like that. Now, I went way outside what you might have thought I would do with this one. What I had left, which was great, I had some greetings, but they didn't really work with what I wanted in my head, what my vision was. So you're going to have all of these left over. That's another card with your leftover paper. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back to these, back to the green die cuts. I know, you can see now how all of this is going to work together. We're going to pull out the squirrel or the chipmunk, I'm not sure which. And we're going to pull out this one that's called Forever Friends. Now, if you want to use it as a get well, that should work as well. So you can do that. I'm going to use these two. And the first thing I did is I took my squirrel and I double foam taped. So I'm just going to quickly put some squares down, and it's got to be double. Okay, that will be a little bit then higher than our frame. Remember I mentioned that we don't want our frames the same. That's me. That's a me thing. So I have this double foam taped, and I'm going to put it right in the middle, just like that. And then I'm going to take my Forever Friends, and I'm going to do that with foam tape, but this time just single. And I am going to cover up the squirrel, so nobody knows the squirrel is there. And it just acts as a really pretty little border. Okay, so oftentimes I joke that I sacrificed that. You and I know that there's a squirrel there, but you know, it is, nobody else knows. So that card is done. Now, again, I used some purple gems, which you can use. Look at that, 1104, and we got 4 cards done. Now, when I use my gems, I just do a dot, a dot, and a dot. Don't overthink it. Overthinking is going to be your problem. Let me grab this, and I get 3 different sizes, whatever sizes you like. We'll put one, oopsie, that one slid. Where's my little nudger tool? Let's nudge it into place. There we go, one there. Let's do this size, and we'll do that one there. Let's do a smaller one. Okay, and then we'll do repeat down here. I think I'll do a big one. So that's how I do my gems. Right or wrong, you do it whichever way you like. You can line them up if you want. I'm happy with that. And that is done. So I'm going to bring back in the cards. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know today was a little bit different than our normal Crafty Hour. We booted through 4 cards, which I think is spectacular. So we have that one. We have that one. We have this one. And last but not least, we have that one. And you still have leftovers. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you. I see all your comments. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sandy and Gail and Shelley. I hope you guys had fun. Now, Courtney has more cards for you this afternoon. And don't forget what I said about taking those inserts. Okay, you have inserts for all of them, matching them up so that, where is my card I put an insert into? So that you can decorate the insides. It just helps make them really, really pretty. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Judith. I want you guys to use those. Now, you can also use them on the front of your card, but they're so pretty on the back. So you still have some kits to do this afternoon. You're going to be using the next 2 with the bottoms. This also shows you which inserts go with which. So if ever you're unsure, shows you right on the back. And of course, there are some card ideas on the front. We don't like to do those card ideas because, well, you can do them. We like to give you some alternatives. So that is always the goal, is we like to give you different ones than what you see on the front. If you are interested in any, give the stores a call. Both of us have a few left. You'll end up with, I think, 8 cards minimum at the end and a whole bunch of leftovers. Thanks so much for joining me for our Crafty Hour number 89. Don't forget, tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific on Scrapbook and Memories Facebook page. Thank you. And, oh, tomorrow, 9 a.m., we have our new Crafty Hour. Don't miss out on that. Please join the event. Have a great day. Bye-bye.